What's up everybody? This is just going to be a little analysis on Cosmos, and I'm going to give you the exact level where you should look into buying Cosmos because I think it's going to be a really strong support level, and if it doesn't hold, I'm going to discuss that possibility as well. And the target for this trade in particular is going to be at least 2x and beyond, if you get it beyond. And the reason I stumbled upon this is because I set a couple of alerts right here where the price is at the moment, and I set it like a couple months back, and it finally hit, and that's why I was alerted to this. And basically Atom is going back into a key zone for buying that I marked out a few months prior, and that's going to be this blue box right here. Now this analysis is going to be done on the weekly chart, so this is going to be a swing trade at the very minimum, so just keep that in mind. So before this, I was actually looking forward to Atom holding this range low right here, but clearly it didn't, and clearly it has broken beneath the range low. In fact, let me just mark out what I mean by a range low and a range high. If you look at price before it broke down, you can see that price was basically gyrating between that range high, range low, range high, and back to essentially the range low before reversing. But during this reversal right here, it failed to make a higher high on the weekly chart, and that's why it got rejected. And now we have broken below the range, which means that the next time that we go back to retest the prior range low, we are very likely going to face some kind of resistance. But basically this alt range has been broken and my theory has been broken. Although price tends to want to stay within a range 70% of the time, there is still 30% that it likes to break down. So now that price has broken the range, now we have to look at it from a new perspective. We have to look at it from a new range, and you could argue that this is another swing low as well, right? Range low, sorry. And within the range low, there is going to have to be like a buying zone. Let me just go down to the daily chart so that I can give you guys a clearer entry. It's going to be between 14.2, give or take 12.7, and give or take 10.86, and even 10.2. And on the low end, right, on the low end, if you can get Atom for $9, you are going to get some sick returns. But I'm not saying that Atom is going to go that low. I'm just giving you guys the numbers here. Now, the reason why I mentioned those levels is because this level is what you call as a weekly order block, and this is a bullish order block. And basically, when price goes back into an order block, that is sort of like your area of value if you were to buy. And if price goes back into a bearish order block, which I'm going to mark out as this one right here, then that is where you'll be looking to sell or take some profit. And the target for this trade, if you pick up Atom within this block right here, basically from 14.2 until 9, that's going to be like a very good buying zone, at least when you view it from the weekly chart, which means this is going to be a very strong level for price to hold. And if it doesn't hold, then you're going to have to get really worried for Atom, because it might be going to break that swing low right there, and we do not want to see that, right? Because currently, assuming that this is our new macro range low and macro range high, then we are going to want Atom to really hold the range low. Otherwise, you're really going to get screwed. Just like how when you broke that range low right there, then Atom's basically just been taking a nosedive, basically like 20-30% over the course of 2 weeks, which is not what we want, right? As investors and as, people who believe in crypto. And again, I'm just going to prove it that, we are indeed in a new range at the moment, a new macro range, where this is going to be your range low and your range high. You can see that the zone of supply right here, right, the bearish order block just happens to line up with the 0.5 fib right there on the right side. I'm not sure if you can see it, but right there at 26.34, that is the 0.5 fib, which means that is the exact midpoint of this macro range right there. So that's going to be your first take profit target. Of course, your first take profit target could absolutely be at 20.5, because this is the old range low right here. So that could be your first take profit. So assuming that, we average out our entries, so I'm not going to pinpoint a specific entry, I'm just going to assume that we get the middle, right, smack dab in the middle of that weekly order block. Then if we take profit at the first level, that's going to be a 60% target. And do I think it's going to hit? Well, as long as this range low holds, in fact, as long as this weekly order block holds and we form a new swing low on the weekly chart, and when I say swing low, I mean like it has to be a candle, like I'm going to draw it out right like this, right? It has to be a fully closed candle, 3 fully closed candles. In fact, the middle candle has to be lower than the 2 candles right next to it. So for example, that is a swing low, that is a swing low, that is a swing low. If you form a swing low within this order block right here, there's a very, very, very good chance you're at least going to go back to 20.5, and not so likely, but still likely, you're going to go back to the mid-range of the range low, because here's the thing, you're going to go back to the mid-range of the macro range. And trading can be as simple as this. You don't really have to complicate it much. And I hope you've learned something from this video about ranges, because it's really simple. You simply buy at the range low and you sell at the range high or the mid range, and it tends to happen a lot more than you think. So assuming that you buy at the bottom here and your second take profit for this trade is at the mid range, then that's going to be 100%. And your third take profit, I'm going to recommend, is to take it at the 0.705 fib, which is at 33.9. And I'm going to narrow that down even more and say that your third take profit should be at 33.3. And that's going to be 163% from entry, assuming you just get like smack dab in the middle. And for your final take profit, you're going to take the rest at 44.88, or like basically $45. Now, this is the range high. This is the macro range high, which is about a 250% pump. Now, is price likely to go back there? Only time will tell. But what is the possibility that price could break above the range high? So if that is the case, then you're going to want to look to take your profit somewhere between $55 and $67, right? In fact, I'll just say it that if price really just, keeps forming high lows and high highs and high lows and high highs, then the ultimate target for Atom come the end of this year or maybe early next year is going to be at $67.8. And if that happens, then assuming you got this entry, that's going to be about 426%, 427% actually. So that is currently the scenario that I'm looking at. Again, this analysis is done on the weekly chart, so it's going to be higher conviction and more likely to be right than something that happens on, say, the 5-minute or even the 1-hourly chart, for example. But what is the possibility that price breaks beneath the range low? So let's say once price breaks beneath the range low, I'm going to want you to understand that a market move on liquidity. Basically what that means is when price breaks this, basically 7.8, right? If price does break 9 or even 7.8, then you're going to want to expect some kind of a hard rebound. Now, the reason I say that is because price moves on liquidity. And I made a full video just earlier today. In fact, right before I recorded this video, I made like a video just explaining how liquidity works and how Bitcoin is probably not going to go back to 20K. So if that's something you're interested in, check out that video. I'm going to link it right here. If you're still around at this point, I just want you to comment down in the comment section Atom. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm a lot, and I will be sure to acknowledge your comment within the first 24 to 48 hours. For now, may the gains be with you, my friend.